So, despite what the liberal media would have you believe, buying your first home is actually a lot of work. So I'm sorry it's been a bit quiet on the Danger Pit for the past year. We bought a house and have done nothing but house-related things for the past 12 straight months. But here's what's cool though. We've got this beautiful, gorgeous garden. It's the reason why we got this gaff, which means that on beautiful days like today, 1 year hence, now that we've sorted the fucking floorboards, we can do our housewarming. And I'm having some guests over. I got started dead early this morning. Do you want to come and have a look and see what we're cooking at the Danger Pit today? Beef ribs. Now, as anybody who's been following my channel for a couple of years is well aware, I've tried to do beef ribs over and over again as recorded, and what happens is it turns out shit for some reason. Be that I burn it and ruin it, be that so it wasn't kidney stones. I actually had a gallbladder stone and ended up in hospital. I might edit that bit out. Nobody needs to know that. No. Let's talk about what we're doing today. Do you want to come around to the wood store?
Hey, you have a setup now.
I know, right? A full setup. Honestly, it's taken us so long to get to this point. I have missed making the movies, so really looking forward to it. Anyway, so in the wood store, I'm just going to grab some silver birch. Birch. Plants and trees. Birch. Let me just head into my shelter. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about what did I want to talk about? The wood that I've got going on at the moment. So for the next season, so for the next year, I've got like last year's wood selection ready now. And so let's talk about it. So first things first, I've got a bunch of oak. Now this is what we foraged up in concert. I made a video of it a while ago. And we just keep going up there and bringing more back because it's a really good wood to just always have to hand. Cool, great. I'll come back to this one actually. This one's more interesting. This bad boy, you can tell by the stripy striations which run across the wood that look like scars. This is cherry wood. So we had some cherry trees in my old garden. They needed pruning. Landlord's lost. My game. Cherry wood. So I'm interested to cook with cherry wood. It's an interesting wood because when I've cooked with cherry wood, which has been kiln dried, it's been absolutely rubbish. It just tastes like burn. It imparts that bright red cherry colour. It looks great on the meat. But what it means every time that I've tried to cook with it is things taste burnt. Now, I'm assuming that's to do with the process of like kiln drying and blasting the sugars to the point where they go from being sugars in the wood to caramel to carbon to just burnt before I start cooking with it. So my own seasoned cherry wood, I hypothesize and will experiment with in a couple of months that this will help me make like pork with a really bright red finish with a slightly sour finish is the aim of cooking with cherry wood anyway. So I'm looking forward to sitting on this. Silver birch, my current favourite wood that I've been cooking with. So silver birch is an invasive species in the UK. It's non-native. We do have them everywhere now, but if we're talking about being ecologically sensitive, and if we're talking about preserving habitats and the environment, silver birch has a lifespan of 80 years. That's because after it reaches a certain point, a certain height, and a certain shape, it gets a fungus which kills it, destroys it, and it goes from being like useful wood that I can use to dangerous standing dead wood because silver birch grows really tall and very spindly. And so if you've got an aged silver birch tree coming up to 60 to 100 years, if it starts to die out and you don't realize and then you get a bad storm, that thing's going to fall over and crash into your house, which we avoided doing at a previous house we were living at, and landlord's lost. My gain. I've got all this silver birch from that. So silver birch is a very naturally sweet, woody wood, and you can use silver birch sap and make birch syrup. You can do that with most wood saps, but with silver birch specifically, because there's so much sugar and so much flavour in the sap, you can make like a British native equivalent of maple syrup. It's the same thing, same concept. And when we cook with it, it cooks really evenly. It's hard to explain the difference between silver birch, which is a little bit sweeter, and oak, which is a little bit nuttier. But the silver birch I swear dehydrates the food a little bit better. There's a slightly different property with the smoke that makes a sweeter bark, and it dehydrates the surfaces and makes the bark set faster. So I've cooked some beef ribs using silver birch today. If I was rolling on oak, I'd have rolled them for about 8 hours or so. Rolling on silver birch, we're talking about 6 hours or so. So this is the kind of colouring that I'd be expecting to see at the 8-hour mark, but we're there now. And I've been keeping my temperatures steady on my fire, so yeah, cool. Anyway, I love me some silver birch. And where's that? Yeah, so alder. Now, I tried to do a bit of homework on how common is alder wood used for smoking. Now, you can tell it's alder because it looks like the cherry colour, but with like the oak scaling. That's kind of the differentiation. I'm sure if you went on the actual like tree identification website, they give you a bit more detail than me going, yeah, it looks a bit like this and this. But that's basically where we're at. So apparently alder has a very light smoke, very light, very wispy, better, more for making charcoal than anything else. And I do want to make some charcoal, but the fact that I can smoke with it, apparently it's got a similar flavor profile to chestnut in the sense that you get like a very light smoke. So my thinking being I'm going to use some of this alder for some chicken, make some proper blackened chicken with some nice white sauce to go over the top of it, where the smokiness isn't the primary taste. Because I want more, if I'm doing chicken, I want something a bit more balanced with a bit of variety with the sauces and with the whatever I'm finishing with on the chicken. So alderwood. Now, the reason why I make such a big point about alderwood is I foraged this one down the road, and it gives me a good chance to talk about the legalities and practicalities of foraging wood in the UK. Now, I just want to prefix what I'm about to say with, it's different with every local authority. With that in mind, I've lived across 3 LAs in the past 6 years, and I've spoken to a representative each time about, can I just go into the forest and steal the wood when you see the arborists coming down and they're doing their forestry and they just leave it by the side? And the answer is yes. The only rules are you must never, ever, ever take power tools into a public area or on a public footpath. So leave your chainsaws at home, leave your drills at home. If you see some wood that has been felled by your council, by a local authority, go and have it. Just like me, get your £5 Irwin saw and a shopping trolley.
Jesus Christ.
So we as taxpayers own that wood, and it's better for someone to come along and use it than it either just get left there to mulch, which would be fine if it was in a forest area. Don't do this in a National Trust area. Please don't go into a National Trust area and forage for anything, because it's part of the National Trust. But if it's just in your local area, in your local playfields or anything, have it, use it, get some good use out of it. Have I got any other woods I'm setting up? Got a bunch of apple wood in the garage as well. And we'll get to apple wood and why I don't like apples. I like apples, the fruit. I lived with a roommate when I was a student who burnt some apple-scented washing up liquid into a George Foreman grill the same time she gave herself salmonella. And I mean, she was knocking on death's door for about 3 weeks. So I cannot stand the smell of artificial apple. And when I've tried smoking with applewood, the same experience that I've had with cherrywood, where the kiln drying process obliterates any good flavours that might have existed in the wood. Lucky for me, one of my pals chopped down an apple tree, gave me a bunch of applewood, and so I'll be using the applewood to experiment with doing some sort of like very British style apples, onions, pork down the line. I look forward to doing that later on this summer. So yeah, just remember to be very safe, be very careful, and don't take your chainsaws onto a public footpath. Oh, fuck me. I do resent having to put the awning up. So, bit of context to my friends over the pond. In the UK, we have between 19 and 22 unfettered wildfires at the moment, due to how incredibly hot it's been and how dry it's been, apart from the one day I get the smoker out for the first time in a year. Not that I'm bitter or anything, anyway. So, boy howdy. Right, oh wow, okay, cool. So, I've just been going ham with my apple cider vinegar, and I think there's some secret to the apple cider vinegar, because look at how squishy, squishy, squishy. And while I have my audience's undivided attention, this is an excellent opportunity for me to complain about the gentrification of butcher's paper. Because butcher's paper is just unwaxed paper. It's the cheapest paper you can get. But, much like beef ribs, much like brisket, now that barbecue's quite popular, people cotton on to the fact that, oh yeah, you know, people will pay some money for this, let's jack the price up. And so butcher's paper is so expensive for no reason other than, fuck you, we made it expensive. I don't love that, if I'm being honest. Much like the good barbecue beef. Oh well. I'd love to claim it's because of gooners like me forcing the price up through popularity, but I can't call myself popular. I don't think I've had much in the way of a contribution to the economy of the United Kingdom, if I'm being completely honest. Not for lack of fucking trying. Don't forget to like and subscribe, tell your friends, join me on OnlyFans. Just trying to live my best life. Create some authentic British barbecue. Recreate American recipes using unbelievably expensive British ingredients due to the gentrification of barbecue. It is wild though, so looking at the cost of beef ribs at the moment, these beef ribs, they cost me £11 a kilo, and that's a steal these days. Now, to say when I started doing barbecue pre-COVID, it was like £5 a kilo for beef ribs bone in, to have more than doubled in price is bullshit. It's frankly unfair, because it just means that if you're like a little backyard cook like me, like, I can't justify the cost that it would take to practice, basically. Like, I can't justify, you know, a weekend going, oh, I'll pick up some beef ribs and have a little bash and try some new recipes. It's just prohibitively expensive. But because we have an incredibly heavily subsidized pork, what's the word? Industry, thank you. In the UK, the price of pork, if anything, is cheaper than it used to be. So I spent about £240 on these beef ribs. And so this works out enough beef ribs for 16 people. First, to get the same amount of pork for 16 people, like pound for pound, bone in, we'd be talking maximum 40 quid. So it's just a shame. Beef barbecue is incredible. It's just disproportionately priced. Just don't get people cooking beef ribs like we should. Anyway, thank you for listening to me while I rant and rave. So I'm going to go and finish these in the oven now. Having experimented with finishing beef on the smoker when it's wrapped, all it does is waste wood. And while we have an abundance of wood, a waste is still a waste, so... Sure, so this is the vibe that I was going for, so you know, the family in the background, everybody ready for some dinner. I've done an absolutely rubbish job recording this cook. Do you want to come closer for the grand unturn? Yes, yes, yes. I will start the most fragrant aromatic fire with this in a second. Let me do a slow reveal. Let me try again. Let me do a slow reveal part 2. Lovely, lovely. Ribs, ribs, ribs. Right, so let's have a go.
How we looking?
Looks like the best bite in barbecue. Do you know what's a bit? I'm going to be very candid with the camera here. And this happened last time I did beef ribs. Come close. So, these have cooked like a rib roast. Now I want them fall apart tender. And I've hit all the markers that take it to fall apart tender, but they've not hit it. Now, whenever I've had really fall apart tender beef, I've gotten it from like a local butcher or an online butcher. I'm not going to use any names until they give me some money. These came from Costco and they're great, and I can tell this is going to taste good. But this happened last time. It's not quite as pull apart tender as I want.
Okay.
Anyway, it's my housewarming party. I'll cry if I want to. Smell is on point. Smells exactly how I'm expecting it to smell. Taste.
Smells incredible.
I'm far too unkind to myself. So, oh.
Success?
No. Don't let my face detract from the fact that what I've used here is substandard beef. So I paid £10 a kilo rather than £21 a kilo because I'm only human. The taste is perfect. This is perfect. The texture is a little bit livery and a little bit dry undercooked. Now, in the slightly scuzzier parts of America, you use barbecue sauce to fake out bad beef. Conveniently for me, I've made some sauce. Let me just go and get some white sauce. I'm going to have a little dip and see. Excuse me, comrades. Excuse me. This is just an Alabama white sauce. A horseradish-based sour apple cider vinegar sauce. With a beef which I've been using apple cider as part of the cooking, so...
No, this is
Camera lady, come and have a taste. So we're talking
The dip.
just a dip, just a good old French dip. We're talking beef sour with horseradish. It goes in a direction like I don't like sweet with beef, and this is quite sweet. I think I get it though. I think I get why we might fake out with barbecue sauce. Anyway,
Oh my god.
I was about to sign off then. Do I have anything else more to say? No, I am going to sign off. So, my name's been Chef Danger. This has been whatever it's been. What a year. Long may we reign. Hiya! My name is Herzog und I ate an entire hamburger.